Hello friends, I come very loaded with interesting information. There are rumors that I can't hardly reveal for obvious reasons, but in the meantime the news is rich enough to distract attention. Opinion article: the largest telescope in the world. China opened its spherical radio telescope. It has half-kilometer parabola. Gravitational waves divide astrophysicists. New generation cosmic rays detectors. NASA images reveal an ET base on the moon. The third temple in Jerusalem fulfills a biblical prophecy. Triple conjunction of Mercury, Jupiter and Saturn this Sunday. Pakistan is left in the dark after a nationwide blackout. Historic snowfall in Spain, the most intense registered since 1971. Sorcha Faal says that this cold wave has been caused by China. The Shaolin Temple begins international courses in Kung Fu. Elon Musk decides to sell all his properties to colonize Mars. Let's start. China's spherical telescope, FAST, with a 500-meter parabola, which is the largest single antenna radio telescope in the world, will be available for the worldwide services as of April 1st. This gigantic telescope has been left without competition after the destruction of Arecibo in Puerto Rico. The operator of the telescope of the National Astronomical Observatories of the China's Academy of Sciences confirmed that scientists from all over the world can make reservations online in order to use the device for scientific observation from April 1st. An assigned schedule will be available beginning August 1st. During the telescope's first year of opening to the world, scientific community around 10% of the observing time will be allocated to foreign scientists, although Chinese researchers will be given 90% of the time. Located in a deep, round karst depression in the southwest Chinese province of Guizhou, the FAST is the most sensitive radio telescope in the world and began formal operations on January 11, 2020. In full performance, the FAST telescope means 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope, in quotes, 500 aperture spherical, I am reading the same, excuse me, whose construction began in 2011 and achieved his first light on September 25, 2016, will gradually open to the astronomers around the world, providing them with a powerful tool to uncover the mysteries surrounding the genesis and evolution of the universe. The first is a single-dish telescope with a diameter of half a kilometer and a reception area equivalent to about 30 football fields. After commissioning, the FAST can now be used for observation at full capacity and is expected to make a number of important scientific discoveries in the next 2 or 3 years. It now has 4,450 triangular panels and is similar in design to the Arecibo radio telescope, using a natural depression to provide a hole for the telescope's parabolic dish. All the technical features of the FAST have exceeded the expectation of Chinese engineers. The goals that are usually raised in front of this apparatus are to carry out the investigation of neutral hydrogen on a large scale, observe pulsars, lead broad-based interferometry, detect interstellar molecules, discover interstellar communication signals, and search for exoplanets with magnetic fields. Gravitational waves. Mysterious gravitational waves divide astrophysicists. In August 2017, the first discovered two new pulsars, although the Chinese media presumed that their number could reach 102 in just 2 years. If this is true, this amount will allow Chinese scientists to overtake their colleagues in the US and the European Union. In my province, it is located the Cala Alto Hispano-German Astronomical Observatory, of which I published a report as a journalist. In addition, the surprising sensitivity of the first allows it to measure the timing of pulsars with a precision 50 times greater than that achieved by other devices in the past. With the help of the first, researchers in China and abroad will be able to measure low-frequency gravitational waves for the first time. It's a breakthrough that implies that scientists will be able to discover more unknown stars, cosmic phenomena, and laws for the universe, of even detect extraterrestrial life, said scientist Lid Keja of the Institute of Astronomy and Astrophysics at Peking University. New conjunction. Triple conjunction of Mercury, Jupiter and Saturn this Sunday. The three bodies form a small and orderly triangle in the west-southwest sky, which appears today Sunday between 30 and 45 minutes after sunset. The long-awaited triangle that forms the conjunction of Jupiter, Saturn and Mercury finally arrives this Sunday, and experts have offered some tips to observe this space phenomenon. The three bodies form a small and orderly triangle in the west-southwest sky, which appears between 30 and 45 minutes after sunset at last most of the night. For reference, Jupiter appears at the top of the triangle, shining about 2.5 times brighter than Mercury and 10 times brighter than Saturn. This time around, although Mercury is the smaller of the three, it will be 4 times brighter than the only planet with a ring system visible from Earth. This could be the last night view of Jupiter and Saturn. First, the ring planet will disappear, and then the largest in the solar system in mid-January. Meanwhile, the first moon of this year will continue to amaze astronomy fans. On January 11th, the very thin crescent moon will be seen along with Venus, and on the nights of the 20th and 21st March will be close to Earth's natural satellite. Although from January 21 to 28, Mercury will be easily visible in the west-southwest about 30 minutes after sunset. Weather modification. China targets large and unnamed aircraft for ecological protection. China launched a large unnamed aerial vehicle that will be dedicated to artificial precipitation task in the northeastern province of Gansu. The aircraft is named Ganling 1, which means sweet rain in Chinese, and took off from Jinchuan Airport at 3:24 p.m. on Wednesday. This innovation marks the launch of the first Chinese weather modification system based on a large unnamed aerial vehicle filling the country's void in this area. Sorcha Faal claims that this cold wave has been caused by the Chinese government manipulating the Arctic Circle vortex that was hit with a sudden stratospheric warming event that divided the polar vortex into two parts, the consequences of which break the winter weather patterns both in North America as in Europe. Historic snowfall in Spain, the most intense recorded since 1971. Extreme weather conditions have claimed the lives of at least 4 people. The passage of the storm Filomena has caused a historic snowfall in Spain, the most intense in 24-hour period since 1971. I don't know why they are always named after women. Cosmic ray detectors. There is put into operation the first set of new generation cosmic ray detectors. The first set of detectors of the High Altitude Cosmic Ray Observatory, LASO, located at 4,410 meters above sea level, has been built and put into operation in a natural area of Daocheng in Sichuan province, southwest China. Discovered in 1912, cosmic rays remain largely an enigma. They are direct samples of matter from outside the solar system. Physicists still wonder where they come from and how they can be accelerated to ultra-high energies. Since most of cosmic rays are charged, their paths through space are deflected by magnetic fields. On their journey to Earth, the magnetic fields of the galaxy, the solar system, and the Earth confuse their flight paths so much that we cannot know exactly where they come from. Many countries have invested heavily in the study of cosmic rays. China, the US, Russia, Japan, Germany, and other countries have established observation stations. Based on the moon, ET hunters believe that NASA images reveal an alien base on the moon. They believe they have seen a base on the moon in NASA images that resembles a discarded bottle cap. Enthusiastic seekers browsing through NASA images believe they have hit the jackpot in the search for aliens. The purported proof comes in the form of a rock, which vaguely resembles a bottle cap. This was evidence enough for certain conspiracy theorists who believe it to be an alien base. Some conspiracy theorists believed that moon is occupied by aliens and say that the reason NASA has not returned since the Apollo missions ended in 1972 is due to an extraterrestrial threat, although others say it was all a hoax. NASA and other scientists would attribute the claim to a phenomenon known as pareidolia, which is where the brain tricks the eyes into seeing familiar objects or shapes in patterns or textures like the surface of a rock. Colonization of Mars. The richest man in the world decides to sell all his property to colonize Mars. The founder of SpaceX and Tesla, Elon Musk, who recently became the richest person in the world, has decided to sell all his property to populate Mars. The businessman explained that building a city on another planet would require a huge investment, and he intends to contribute to that process. This is one of the reasons why he is selling most of his material possessions. Excuse me. In early January, it emerged that as a result of the increase in the value of Tesla shares, Musk's fortune exceeded $185 billion. As a consequence, he replaced the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, as the leader of the ranking of the wealthiest people on the planet. In October of last year, Musk's aerospace company SpaceX declared that Mars will be a free planet, not governed for the loss of Earth, when the company's planned colony opens there. The billionaire, on the other hand, pointed out that his company was on track to launch its first unnamed mission to Mars in less than 4 years. Kung Fu classes. The mythical Shaolin Temple and University cooperate to start martial arts courses for international students. The Shaolin Temple, the cradle of China's Kung Fu, and located in Henan Province, central China, has signed an agreement with the local university to jointly train international students in bachelor, master, and doctorate courses in martial arts. I wouldn't mind to study it. In light of the agreement between Shaolin Temple and Henan University, the two entities are going to enroll students from around the world to specialize in Kung Fu. The cooperation will allow Kung Fu lovers from more countries to learn and promote traditional Chinese culture, said Shi Yongxin, abbot of the temple. Last year, the university based in Zhengzhou, the provincial capital, founded in the Wushu Institute, the only one of its kind established by a comprehensive university in China so far. Although in 2019 an agreement was signed between the temple and the university to jointly train Kung Fu trainers who can teach courses abroad. About 30 students selected each year by the institute will be sent to overseas temple cultural centers to teach Kung Fu after graduation, according to the university. Biblical prophecy. The third temple in Jerusalem would fulfill the biblical prophecy of the end of times. It is said that the end of the world would follow the construction of a third Jewish sacred temple in Jerusalem, which according to some would be a prophetic sign of the biblical apocalypse. Christian prophecies about the end of the world predict that a third holy temple would be built in Jerusalem at the end of time. The eschatology of the end of the world states that the third temple will rise before the biblical apocalypse. Many Christians, evangelists, and preachers believe that the third temple will also be linked to a second coming of Jesus Christ. Discussions about the approaching end of the time began in November 2018 in response to a letter written by the Jewish Assembly of Rabbis known as the Sanhedrin. Jerusalem at the time was in the grip of a mayoral election, and the Sanhedrin urged the two candidates, Ofer Berkovich and Moshe Lyon, to rebuild the temple. The first two holy temples in Jerusalem were built on the city's Temple Mount centuries ago, but were destroyed by the Babylonians and the Romans respectively. The Holy Temple plays a crucial role in Jewish tradition and is a central actor in the prophecies and accounts of the Apocalypse. Christian pastor and end of the world preacher Paul Begley has claimed that the signs of the end times are coming to fruition. Predictions of The Simpsons. Did The Simpsons predict the robbery of the Capitol? Some fans of the animated series of The Simpsons think that the writers have predicted the robbery on the Capitol in Washington 25 years ago. In one of the episodes of the 7th season of The Simpsons that dates back to 1996, a character appears who is an amendment to the Constitution. His song ends with the words, "Oh yeah, those open again, guys." Excuse me. "Oh yeah, those open guys." Without again. And other characters run up the stairs of the Capitol, firing guns and carrying bombs. It's a brutality. Many netizens were again impressed with the series' ability to predict events. The first assailant on the Capitol building identified as an activist. The activist John Sullivan has been identified as one of the people who supposedly was part of the siege of the Capitol building. John Earl Sullivan, 25 years old, of Sandy, was booked into the Utah County Jail for an investigation. Pence received a strange coin after certifying the election. Right after the vice president certified the election, he received a mysterious gold coin in handshake that social networks have called the Judas coin. It, in quotes, "It almost seems that he is being rewarded or welcomed to the swamp." After he received the mysterious coin, Nancy Pelosi tried to get Pence's attention by rubbing him with her elbows. Political trial. Second impeachment attempt. Democrats were getting ready on Saturday to launch a second impeachment trial against the president, something unprecedented in history. While the outgoing president shows no sign of leaving office, Democrats plan to trigger the trial Monday to speed up a process that normally takes weeks. However, they could hardly complete it before January 20th. Nancy Pelosi says that he is, in quotes, of course, he is stopped, deranged, and dangerous. Measured words. The outgoing president announced this Friday that he will not attend the inauguration of his successor in office, a situation that hasn't occurred since 1869, 152 years ago, when former President Andrew Johnson did not attend the act of unveiling of Ulysses Grant. Importantly, the president has not conceded anything, and if you look at the words of his most recent video statement, there is absolutely no concession in it, and no successor to him is named. Pelosi asked the army to restrict the president's access to nuclear weapons launch codes. The president of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, has requested this Friday the president of the Army Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, to restrict access to the outgoing president to nuclear weapon launch codes. Despite a campaign by Democrats as the established media to delegitimize the president after Wednesday Capitol raid, the Defense Department officials intend to avoid outside pressure and continue to recognize him as the commander-in-chief. Former agency director John Brennan calls for Mao-style public humiliation sessions for the president's supporters before they are accepted back into society. An impeachment trial would only serve to further divide the nation. A new attempt
at impeachment would only deepen the division in society, White House Deputy Press Secretary Jude Derry said on Friday. Electronic anomalies. Pakistan left in darkness following nationwide blackout. A massive power outage plunged Pakistan into darkness this Saturday. Blackout. Shortly before midnight, entire cities were without power after the national power grid was disrupted, including Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Quetta and Peshawar. Electricity blackouts have also occurred in many other countries around the world, but on a smaller scale than in Pakistan. Censorship. The president's Facebook and Twitter accounts have been suspended. This allows him to communicate via the emergency broadcast system, something he has set up and tested on all cell phones in October 2018. Apple threatens to ban Parler, the free speech alternative to Twitter, unless the service enacts censorship policies demanded by the big tech oligarchs. Mozilla developer of the internet browser Firefox, has argued that more must be done to keep the president and other bad actors out of cyberspace, prompting many to promise never to use the group's services again. Where is the fly? Here or there? On January 7th, the president was at the Marine One, meeting with the military. The next 14 days could be difficult and communications blackout would be possible. In this case, it is advisable to start the Signal application. On Thursday, Santa Surfing advised stocking up with some extra food, cash, etc. if you can. My opinion is that there is nothing to fear as long as the supply networks do not fail. Marine One, that's the pronunciation. Marine One is the call sign for any Marine Corps aircraft carrying the president. Usually denotes a helicopter operated by the Marine Helicopter Squadron 1, Nighthawks, consisting of the large Sikorsky Sea King of the newer, smaller White Hawk. Both helicopters are named White Tops for their livery. Any Marine Corps aircraft carrying the vice president has a Marine 2 call sign. On Wednesday, January 6th, the president was scheduled to make an announcement Saturday midnight, but that didn't happen, and no reason was given as to why. Washington D.C. remained on lockdown. According to Sorcha Faal, the president went to the Castle Rock base in Cheyenne, Colorado, and exchanged messages with General Flynn, but tweeted has deleted his accounts. His son, Donald Trump Jr., has told Parler that he expects a big announcement very soon, adding, in quotes, "In the meantime, think about this. How valuable is freedom to you?" General Flynn singles out the governments of China, Iran, Italy, Germany, Serbia, and Spain for his role in the elections. General Flynn's last tweet says in quotes, "The storm is coming, now the pain is coming." A great social media purge has taken place. All of this has been planned. They have all the proof: bank accounts, transfer documents, videos, phone conversations, even hundreds of thousands of gold bars. They have had terabytes of information stored on supercomputers for decades. Sorcha Faal, son of said on Friday that the president brings the Doomsday plane to the World Attack Command base and then he activated NORAD. In the last 24 hours, they have documented radar tracks showing that the president has left Washington, D.C., just as the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, has just been activated in Colorado. Radar tracking evidence showing the president evacuated Washington, D.C. by flying aboard his expanded airborne command post Night Watch, and then saw him arrive at Diaz Air Force Base near Abilene, Texas, where it is based the Air Force Command. Reflection. According to Stefan, this time will repeat pronunciation. I am not just used to English pronunciation. Untrained. I was untrained, but several years ago I have better pronunciation than now. Well, I do as best as possible, as best as I can. According to Stefan, these times will end soon, and I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't see it coming. We are heading by leaps and bounds towards a point where all this ends. There can only be one outcome to this entire history of decades, and it will be a happy ending. And now the time for waking up is also over. But above all the time for uselessly arguing with people who are asleep or half awake, I don't know when it will start, but that's not even the question anymore. The golden age awaits us, as impatiently as we have been waiting for it. All the evil will go away, and we will still look at it, but then we will let it go. We cannot take him with us to a new world. The whole world will be renewed from scratch on a social, financial, and family level. Families will once again be the origin of communities, as they should be in a peaceful world. There will be no more divisions or confrontations. There will be peace, harmony, and happiness. We all hope this. Everyone who awakens will capture the attention of others and help them understand the new. No mockery or contempt, no fights or insults. We had to endure that humiliation ourselves, but we will not use it towards others, because we are the good ones. According to Kat, we are prepared for the big moves they are making now globally. We can be the calm in this storm. We are the truth in this dark night of the soul, and a very fiery light is shining at the end of this tunnel. As the last remnants of the dark world are being demolished and evaporated by the divine warriors of light. All hell has fallen apart, as if we had avoided the moment, and now we have a platform where everyone seems to know their role, like a show that just came off Broadway. All we can do is watch in shock. However, we also know that it was a tame move compared to what could have happened. A large solar coronal mass ejection established its site on Earth as a target on January 6th. This created an atmosphere for change. Hold on to what you know to be the truth and let it become optimistic. No matter what others in the world do, you can choose to live in a world of peace. No matter how many defend lack, you can live in an abundant world. It doesn't matter whether others choose it or not. You can live in a world of kindness, caring, compassion, and courtesy. If you want peace, get away from crowds and discomfort. Breathe deeply, participate in practices that make you feel at peace. If you want to feel safe, find ways to connect with the divine, and for that there is nothing safer than feeling how deeply you are loved by the power that creates wealth. If you want prosperity, start by loving, focusing on it. If you want love, start by loving and accepting yourself without judging yourself. Pardon yourself. Most of the human beings on Earth are being influenced by something that is detrimental to the development of their consciousness. And right now, one thing we know for sure is true about humanity and life on Earth. And it's the truth that they need a higher level of consciousness to bring them all together so that they can become the harmonious collective that they need and who are meant to be. We want to set you free because we know that you are capable of much more, and those of you who are caring for your energy fields are showing it by having so much light and so much love that you are providing the necessary balance. That will allow humankind to continue to rise and rise. But life in your world doesn't have to be like this. You don't have to be divided. You don't have to live in fear to such an extent that you can lack compassion for others. According to James Gilliland, the Schumann resonance is off scale. This will continue to increase exponentially. No stone will be left unturned, and all injustices will be shouted from the rooftops. Karma will accelerate and amplify. Don't give up. All of this will be cleaned up in March. Tyrants will fall. Businesses and borders will reopen. Profiteers from war and disease will no longer be able to stand up or walk the streets. We all have to stand firm in our own divinity and play our role with utmost joy. Thank you, dear friends. I wish all this good for you. Thanks a lot, and take care for you. Look after you.